Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who tune into these videos. And in this video, I want to speak about a situation that had occurred at the last camp that we held, in San Francisco. And so, as you can see on the screen, this individual here showed up to camp wanting to hear what we were speaking about. But then he had a question, and when he raised his hand, he asked about if we were allowed to depict Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Because if you go to our camp, we have all those signs and images to show people the things that we believe in. And he quoted a scripture in Exodus about how we're not supposed to make an image. I'm just gonna get it real quick. Because when he walked by the camp, he noticed that we had pictures of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and one thing I'm gonna say this first is the only reason we have those pictures is because that's an artist rendition of how Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, it's depicted as how the scriptures describe them, with white woolly hair and feet that are likened unto brass, like what you would call a so-called black person in modern times. And the reason why we do those things is because we're breaking strongholds. We know the spiritual warfare that we're against, and that when we're speaking to our people, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, they have an actual stronghold on that Caesarea Borgia demon. And that goes all the way to Serapis Crispus. And you can watch the apostles' breakdown on that actual vibration, that people worship, because when they think of the scriptures in their mind, they think of that individual, Caesarea Borgia, an Edomite, pretty much. And so, when this guy walked by camp, the question that he had was why we had those pictures out there. And he thought that we were breaking this commandment here in Exodus 20, verse 4. It says, "Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images," or image, Sakya. And continuing on, it says, "or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me." And so the understanding here is that we don't make a graven image and worship that graven image. We don't go to an artist rendition and just say that this is the Heavenly Father right here. No, that's actually just a graven image. And so we're allowed to paint and draw pictures and paintings and things like that, because it's in our customs to do things like that, to appreciate the creation, but we don't worship those things. And so he had that confusion that we had those pictures at, and we were worshiping those posters that we had. But the understanding there is that we're showing those pictures to give an artist rendition. And so one question I wanted to ask this guy, because when he came here, he listened to that, and he listened to our how we were breaking it down. He didn't really receive it, because the thing that I've noticed at camp is that whenever an individual is intrigued into what we were saying, another person comes by out of nowhere and tries to distract them. Because when the elder brother was speaking, breaking this down, the camera doesn't show it, but when I was there, I was thinking of precepts, because I have this testimony that when I first came to this camp, an individual tried to lasso me out of there, and try to whisper things or whatever to make me think that this ain't the truth. And I disregarded it, because I understood that that was the scriptures playing out. And then I see that all too many times. Once you come into the fold, you start understanding and growing in this truth of the spiritual warfare that we're actually partaking in. This is a thing that you can't just just jump in it. You have to actually count the cost, because many times it ain't just from the Northern Kingdom, this individual that's the example for this video, but it's been many times where I've seen like a person, so-called black person, scratching his chin, thinking, he's shaking his head. He's like, oh yeah, this makes sense. And then, out comes Satan or one of his agents, to pretty much come and whisper into his ear. And so while we were out there preaching, and breaking things down, these individuals will just turn completely 180 and start having a conversation with the guy on the outside. This person doesn't have fringes on, he doesn't preach, he's got tattoos or whatever. It's many ways, when these demons come and distract individuals. And so I actually got that precept here, and this is well, actually, I think it's this one. Yeah, this is Mark 4:13, and it says, "And he said unto them, Know ye not this parable? And how then will ye know all parables? The sower soweth the word." So when we're out there, we're likened unto in this parable as the sower, and we're preaching this good word of the gospel, the kingdom, the good news, the remission of sins through Yahweh Shai. And verse 15 says, "And these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts." So like that scenario and the testimonies that I've had, where this literally plays out in my very eyes, or like just in the front of me, where a person is intrigued, and as we're sowing, we're throwing the seeds of good news so that they can inspire people. Like this word is like it's truth, and it's like it's faith building. It's like it's a grain of mustard seed, and we're sowing mustard seeds, but not all those mustard seeds are going to land on good soil, because pretty much when we throw out there like all these phrases, like we're casting a net and we're trying to catch as many fish as we can, but we understand through the scriptures and the understanding that not every fish is going to get caught. Not every seed is going to land on good soil. All right, so I'm going to read verse 15 again. And it says, "And these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown, but when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts." And I remember the camp before this camp, it happened to the southerner, from the southern tribe. He was listening to this, and then all of a sudden, one of the adversaries that we deal with on a weekly basis came out of nowhere and wanted to lasso him away. Try to dissuade him from what we're saying, to give us disbelief, and pretty much just make it so that our words are of no avail to that person. And I'm not trying to put the spotlight on this individual. I'm more so putting the spotlight on Satan, because it's a scenario that has played out. It's actually happened to me when I was on the outside. I came there with my notebook and pen, Sharpie, and all this and that. But the thing is, though, Satan didn't understand that I actually looked well into my goings. I had been subscribed for a minute and studying for myself. So when that happened, it kind of bugged me out. But as the scriptures were playing out in front of me, I understood that this was literally from the book of Mark, chapter 4. And I could assure you that other brothers have seen this play out often, many times, more than once. And it ain't gonna stop happening until those missiles hits. By the way, until this word has stopped being preached. But I'm gonna continue on, verse 16, and it reads, "And these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who, when they have heard the word, immediately received it with gladness." Because like I said, I'm not trying to shine a spotlight on this individual here. Lord's willing, this brother gets cleansed by the word, and he becomes a member of this ministry. But we'll see how things play out, because we did our job by telling him this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, this doctrine, and it's up to him to see if he's got faith to pray on those things. Because when we threw out those seeds, it pretty much landed on stony ground, because he wasn't really paying attention. I believe he did receive the doctrine that we were saying, but the thing is, though, is he kept on talking to other people. He would just completely turn around and talk to a guy who was from head to toe filled with tattoos or something. Satan, actually. It was an agent of Satan. And then he had to leave early. But I told him pretty much, this is the YouTube channel. Subscribe and get edified. Because that's our job. Our job as a sower is to push out this word, and pretty much go to the nation that needs a physician. And so I'm gonna continue on, verse 16, It says, and these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who when they have heard the word, immediately received it with gladness. It's like that individual. He was kind of shooken and agitated inwardly. But I believe that through the Spirit he understood what we were really about. That this is a spiritual thing that we're actually partaking in. He received it with gladness. And then verse 17 says, and have no root in themselves, and so endure but for a time afterward, when affliction or persecution ariseth for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. And this right here, like just as much as I see people, they come in with gladness to listen to what we're saying, then Satan comes and tries to pull them away, take them back into the world. We also see this play out in verse 17, that people come into this ministry and then they don't grow. They're not rooted in. They're pretty much growing on rock. They didn't count the cost. They build a house without the cornerstone, which is Yahweh Shai. Various precepts come to mind about these things. But I'm going to read this verse 17 again. It says, and have no root in themselves, and so endure but for a time afterward, when affliction or persecution arises for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. And so that's in Great Millstone. I believe the edict is still out that no new GMS members are allowed to come in. And if you hear this word and you believe in this word, it's more of a sifting process. We actually have to put the scopeo on you to see if you're really about this. Are you really about spending time for this word? Are you really about studying to show yourself approved? Are you really about donating to this ministry? I'm not speaking just about money, but time wise and like your whole body. You have to be a living sacrifice for this ministry. And so there's people who they come into this truth, and they're just in and out. So just letting you know that the scriptures are faithful and true, because these are things that actually play out. And continue on verse 18. It says, and these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things, entering in, choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful. And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word, and receive it, and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, some an 100. And so that's, Lord willing, that's the lot that I am in. That's the lot that the brothers in this ministry who are listening to these things, because it's a shameful thing for when you come into this ministry with somebody, but then that person gets offended, however it may play out. You want to be those who are continually growing in this ministry, being fruitful with this word, like the talent. It's like the parable about the talent. We're given this truth pretty much, and you don't want to have that talent hidden in a napkin. You want to flip that. You want to expand upon that. And if you don't have that drive or that gift, as the Apostle Tahar was going into one of his lessons, the elder Abba Bivens, I forget how the quote went, but he pretty much said, this thing of ours, you have to have that gift. That gift, you could say it's the faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, that no matter what adversity or things that you go through in this world, that you're not going to be offended for this ministry. You're going to put this above all else. And so this is John 7:38. It says, he that believeth on me, as the scriptures hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. Because when we're out there in the streets and highways and hedges, we're seeing everybody famished. They don't have wisdom. They don't have anything. They don't have this word, this water of life. And we're set up as preachers to pretty much, also, not only do we prophesy against Esau, but we also are supposed to edify. That's the main thing that we're out there for. We're not just out there to be seen in the sight of men. We're out there so that we could teach and edify of the hopeful elect who are still out there. Lord willing, we're coming to those times where the famine of the word is cut. So that we've sealed the elect, Lord willing, with this doctrine, this ministry. Because we're just vessels down here. But we yearn for those days, because that's prophecy. We want to be able to go through the next phase in the scriptures, because right now we're still witnessing Mark 4 and 13 play out in our very eyes. All right, so another precept I have is John 4:14. It says, "But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life." And so, that's that's what this ministry is about. Having this everlasting life with the waters of living water. So that you never thirst of anything else. We're not going to want other things. We understand that this is the scripture that we're sticking to, and we're not going to divert from it. And so this is John 15, verse 3. It says, "Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you." And so when we are out there on the highways and hedges, Yahweh Shai is speaking through us, and his sheep hear his voice. So when you walk by our camp, we're actually doing a cleaning process, a healing process. So when you come here and you stop by for a minute, and you listen to this thing, pretty much your fate is sealed. At that point, it's up to you to see if you're really about this or you're about the world. Because this doctrine, this word, is what's cleaning us, and this is the real baptism. And this is one of those this doctrines that we teach out there, is that a real baptism is the baptism of this word. Like I believe it says in Ephesians, where it says that he may sanctify it and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. So that's a direct cut on all these people who still do those baptisms as if that's a thing that we're supposed to do. But really, it's first and foremost, you have to get this word. Because you could just dip anybody in water. The next day he's going to be dipped in water again. But this word is waters of living waters. You're never going to want to get dirty. Lord willing, you stay and walk in this ministry, and if that seed was sowed on good land. I'm going to read for verse 4. It says, "Abide in me, and I in you." So like it says, I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye except ye abide in me. And it's Yahweh Shai that giveth the increase. You can't just do this on your own. You have to be in this ministry with the right doctrine. And if you don't have the right doctrine, then the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is not going to be dealing with you, and you're going to be stagnant. You're going to become lukewarm. You're not going to be growing. You're going to be choked. And verse 5, it says, "I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing." So we can't do anything in this ministry unless you actually have this doctrine, and follow in his path, walk ye in it. All right, and so the last precept I wanted to read here is because the individual he had to leave a little early, so we couldn't really give him a whole bunch of doctrine. Because it's a whole bunch of precepts that that come out when things like this happen. Because like we're out there, we're healing a sick nation, we're resuscitating them with this word and giving them the waters of life. But I want to read this here because this is the scenario. This is the spiritual warfare that we're partaking in. And so this is in Luke 22, verse 31. And it says, "And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat." So when we're out there on the highways and hedges, we're battling Satan pretty much, even in our day-to-day lives. He desires to sift us. He wants to agitate us. He wants to choke us and get us pulled back into the affairs of this world. That's why, Lord willing, when you hear this ministry, like as we're the sowers, you have to pray to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai that he gives you the increase so that seed continually grows and becomes fruitful, no matter what Satan does to you. So it says, Satan hath desired to sift you, it says to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not. And when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. And so, that's the thing that we're doing there. We're ultimately, helping the hopeful elect. We through the understanding, we understand that, through the doctrine, we understand that not everybody's going to get this. But we were trying to take care of those who with the seed that lands on good soil, because it's always a continual help. We have to love one another. We have to iron sharpeneth iron. Because we can't just sow, be well, sorry, we can't just be sowed and then grow on our own selves, because that's against the doctrine. We have to love one another, forbear one another, help one another, and continue to pretty much strengthen thy brethren. And I wanted to get this word here, sift. So this is a G4617 siniazo. And so the outline of biblical usage is to sift, shake, and sieve by inward agitation to try one's faith to the verge of overthrow. So that's the feeling and the thing that Satan is trying to do, is he's trying to agitate you inwardly. It's like, when you hear this doctrine, you get offended of it. That's Satan, because ultimately, we're speaking life evermore. So if you're getting agitated by this doctrine or anything else, you could apply this to whatever Satan throws at you. You have to understand that that's just Satan, and he's just trying to agitate you so that you can waver in this ministry and not grow. And I wanted to read this definition because this word agitate, it's a good word that you could use in your vocabulary and have in your understanding. As agitates is to make someone troubled or nervous. So this is ministry. You want to be able to shake that feeling off if you're agitated. Because you want to come into this ministry and be fruitful in this ministry, grow in this ministry, be of a cheerful countenance. Because Yahweh Shai conquered the world. Now it's up to us to endure through it. So that's the end of this video. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, Shalom Akim.